Hi everyone and welcome back to the CX Toolbox. If you saw our last tutorial, we walked you through exactly how to set up your lead capture form in Dubsado. Now that we've done that, it's time to take things one step further and get Dubsado to really do the heavy lifting for us. In this video, we're going to show you how to automate your inquiry process so that leads get an instant professional response without you having to manually reply to every email, because that's a nightmare. We'll walk you through a few different workflow options that you can set up. So number one is going to be automatically checking your availability based on a date. Number two is going to be sending out a scheduler right away after a client fills out lead capture form so they can book a call. And then the third one is going to be sending a questionnaire first and then following up with a scheduler link once they've submitted their answers. So I'll be using a few pre-written canned emails from our Dubsado canned email pack for website designers, but don't worry, these templates can easily be adapted for any business, and we are going to have a whole lot more canned email templates on our shop very soon. So let's jump in and get your inquiries running on autopilot. So the first thing that I want you to do is just make sure that you've got your project statuses set up. So in this, we're probably going to need a couple of project statuses done. So with the new inquiry, after they obviously fill out the lead capture form, they're going to go into new inquiry, but we want to set up a couple of other ones. So I'm going to set up under lead, because these are lead. Lead is when they are not a paid job, and then job is when they've actually signed the contract and paid. So we're going to put in here, I'm going to put in here call booked. I love an emoji. And then I'm also going to book, so this is after they've scheduled, I'm going to also put questionnaire tick, which is questionnaire complete. So now that I have those project statuses done, then I'm going to dive into the workflows. So first of all, we're going to be setting up the first workflow. And the first one is going to be checking the date, because I want to send them an auto response email to let them know that I have received it and I'm not ghosting them. And I want to let them know a kind of time frame that I will be able to realistically work with to check the date. And then I'm going to set up after that, once I've checked the date, whether I want to set up a not available or workflow, or whether I want to go down the route of accepting it and being like, yay, I am available for that date. So I'm going to call this workflow inquiry workflow. So the first action that I want to do is I'm going to send an email to them, because I don't want them to think that I am ghosting them if there's no response. So I'm going to go send email, and it's going to be, I might want to send this a little bit delayed, so maybe 10 minutes after they've filled out the lead capture form, or you can do it immediately after workflow started. And I'm just going to use this auto response email, which basically is saying, I've got your email. I'm going to get back to you within 24 hours. Check the date. So you can write your email however you want. You can also link your pricing guide or a URL or your services, whatever you want. You have the option of taking that out, so you can write it, whatever. But you're just letting them know that I've received it, I'm checking things over, and I will be coming back to you very soon. So now what I want to do is I'm going to create a to-do. And I want this to do to be sent to me just to check over the date. So 0 after all previous, or as soon as the workflow started, we can do. So congratulations, the client full name has inquired. Are you available? And then we're going to pull through the project start date, because this is going to be mapped from the lead capture form. And then you can put, if yes, mark this to-do complete to send out the discovery scheduler. If no, ignore this and make sure to start the workflow not available. And then I would just send it to yourself in an email so you get this notification. So what this is doing now is it's going to send them the auto response to say you've got it. It's going to send you a to-do to say check this over. Then you'll be able to mark this off. And then the next step is going to be to send out that scheduler. So appointment scheduler. Then I'm just going to grab the scheduler, and I want to do this a slight buffer just in case I tick this off by accident. I don't want it to go out straight away. So if I do tick this off by accident, it's going to still give 10 minutes. So you'll be able to pause the workflow. So we're going to do after all previous actions. So this means that if this isn't ticked off, then this will never go out. This step has to be marked as complete for this step to go out after all previous actions. Then I'm just going to use the canned email. So I'm going to do sending discovery call, which has, and you always need to make sure that it definitely has the scheduler link in there, because this is going to pull through as a button to this smart field. So if you don't have this smart field in there, it's going to show as blank and they won't be able to book in. So make sure you go to links and you go scheduler link and link it. Once you've done that, you can hit apply, and then we can do the next step. So you might want to change the project status after the call has been booked. So change project status, 0 days after appointment is scheduled, and then you can watch for the scheduler, and then you can change the project status and hit apply. And you can also add a tag as well if you want to, because you can filter by tags. So you can do after an appointment has been scheduled, a free consultation, add new tag. We can put discovery call. What we do is after this is archive, because if they never book in, really don't want to clog up your new inquiries project status. And I had a client that had over 700 leads that weren't archived automatically, and it took a very, very long time to manually archive them and go through them. So this step 100% need to put in here just in case. So you could do maybe like 30 days after workflow started. If they haven't booked in by that point, you can apply this. And if they do book in, then we can also put pause workflow, and we can do 0.1 hours after an appointment has scheduled, and then look for this scheduler. So what this is going to do is it's going to change your project status after the call has been booked, so you can see everyone that's booked in. It's going to add the tag so you can filter by anyone you've previously had a discovery call with. And then it's going to pause the workflow once the appointment has been scheduled, because we don't want to archive it. So if they don't book any of this in within the 30 days, then this will automatically archive. But if they do book in, then it will never archive, because we have this pause workflow option here. So this is just a really basic inquiry workflow, which works perfectly. But if you do want to automate following up if somebody hasn't booked in for that discovery call, then we do have a resource that goes through this whole process on our resources page, which is the Dubsado inquiry workflow template. So this will basically show you how to automate multiple follow-ups within Dubsado, because as you'll notice, there is no trigger for after a call has not been booked, but there is 100% a workaround for this. So if you want to know more about that, head over to our resources page and you can download the free guide. So the next workflow is really exactly the same as this one. So I'm just going to duplicate this and just add it as number 2, because it just be removing these 2 steps, because we don't need to check for a date. We're just going to send out the appointment scheduler straight away after they have filled out the lead capture form. So I'm just going to change this to straight away after the workflow has started. And I've already got this set up, that send appointment scheduler, free consultation, and this is using the correct email with the scheduler and the pricing guide. So you can have it that if you don't need to check for a day, you don't need to pre-qualify, and you want to jump on a 30-minute or a 20-minute call with anybody that comes through your website, then you can just send the scheduler straight away. Just make sure that you are always including the link, the scheduler link field there as well. So this would be exactly the same process. So it'll be changing the project status, adding the tag, pausing the workflow, and adding the archive project after the workflow has started. Obviously, this will never happen if this gets paused. This is just a really, really simple sending out the appointment scheduler. That one is easy to set up, obviously, once you've done the first one. Then the third one is going to be slightly different. So with this one, I am going to send out a questionnaire first for them to complete. We do send form, and we're going to do after the workflow started. Going to find a questionnaire to send out. I mean, you can even do it that you send out a proposal straight away after they like your lead capture form, if you want to send that out and not have a whole inquiry workflow. So you do have that option. You'll just need to make sure that you attach a payment plan. And actually, that's another good YouTube video to do. So I might make that a separate one. But for this one, we're just going to send out a questionnaire, and then I'm going to find the canned email for sending the pre-project questionnaire. So make sure when you are sending a form, whether it be a subcontract, a questionnaire, or a proposal, you are using the Smart Field link form for the form insert form. So this is the form link one. So once you've got that set up, then you can hit apply. Then what we're going to do is, if this form isn't complete within a certain time frame, I want to resend it, because sometimes people won't complete questionnaires on the first time. So I'm going to do send form, and I'm going to do maybe 5 or 4 days after form is not complete. I'm going to watch for that same form again, and then I'm going to type in this same form, because this is going to allow it to resend. So make sure it's the same one. And then I've just got a canned email here that is questionnaire follow-up. So I'm just, again, using the smart field for the form link there. And then what I want to do is, when this form is complete, I want to change a project status to questionnaire complete. So I'm going to do after form is complete, and I'll check for this form, and then I'm going to do questionnaire complete. So I'll be able to see in that project status everyone that has finished that questionnaire. Then what I want to do is, once that form is complete, you might want to add a to-do to check the form over to make sure you want to send out the discovery questionnaire, or you could instantly send out the appointment scheduler straight away after the form is complete. So you could do 0 hours after form is complete, then select your scheduler and then your canned email. So I'm going to send out the discovery call after that questionnaire is complete. Then you can do the next steps of changing the project status after the appointment has been scheduled. So we can do watch for the appointment scheduler, change your project status to call booked. We can then pause the workflow once the appointment has been booked. So don't do 0 hours. Make sure that it is a time frame after this, because otherwise they might trigger at the same time and it might not change your project status. So we want to do after an appointment is scheduled, look for the scheduler. And I'm going to do archive when they haven't completed the form within a certain number of days. And I'm going to do archive when they haven't scheduled the appointment within a certain number of days, because there's 2 triggers here, because they could actually complete the questionnaire and then not booking for the discovery call, or they could just not complete the questionnaire. So I just want to cover my back that I'm not going to have a ton of leads clogging up because I haven't done that. So I'm going to do 30 days after form is not complete. We're going to archive the workflow, and then I'm going to do archive workflow, and I'm going to do 30 days all previous actions. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move this up to underneath the send appointment scheduler. So what this is going to do is it's going to send the questionnaire, resend the questionnaire if it's not complete, change the project status to questionnaire complete when they've finished the form, send the appointment scheduler straight after the questionnaire is complete. Then if they book this call, it's going to change the project status and pause the workflow if they book the call. Then if they don't book the call in 30 days, it's going to archive the project. And if they don't complete the questionnaire within 30 days, then it's again going to archive the project. So this is just making sure that we are covering our backs for both situations within the process of this workflow. So that is how you set up the third inquiry workflow. We're now going to go over and attach these to our lead capture form. So if you go over to forms, and then this is basically capture form that I did in the last tutorial. So we can go over to the what service are you interested in. And if you don't have this in your questionnaire, then if you go add element and you go workflow, then this will populate. So I'll just delete this and show you now. I'll add in a element, go down to workflow, and it will automatically populate it with what service you're interested in. Also make this a required field if you need them to definitely fill it out to go through the workflow options. So I'm going to make the first one wedding photography. I'm going to make the second one, which is the straight away family photography. And then I'm going to make the last one brand photography. Then I'm going to set the workflow. So the first one is going to be the first inquiry workflow that checks the date. The second one is going to be the one that sends out the scheduler straight away. And then the third one is going to be the questionnaire. So once that is set up, just save your form. And if you are checking a date or you have a date, just remember to do the field mapping for project date within the date element option. This is important because otherwise it's not going to pull through onto your to-do. So if you only want them to go through one workflow for every service that you have, then you don't need this option. You can actually remove this, and you could use a checkbox for your services. And instead of that, you could go over to the form settings and you can just apply a default workflow that you want everyone to go through. So for every single service. So once you've done that, you can save form, you can then embed it on your website, or you can use the link as a URL in your social media if you style this. We also have a couple of lead capture forms that you can download completely for free. We've got the lead capture form for wedding photographers, which is a styled application style form that you can use. And we've also got another lead capture form for website designers, but really these can be used for any business. They're completely customizable. This is how to set up your automated inquiry response in Dubsado. Whether you're checking availability, sending a scheduler, or following up with a questionnaire, these simple workflows means that your clients get an instant professional response. If you found this helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you found this helpful, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe so you don't miss the next tutorial. We've got more coming on building complete Dubsado workflows, styling forms to match your brand as well. So you can also grab the Dubsado canned email pack for website designers that I used in this video. It's linked below and it's easy to adapt for any business. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.